While Americans struggled to afford groceries during inflation, Kroger executives sent emails joking about passing through customers like a stuffed turkey. The internal documents I have obtained reveal how grocery chains did not just profit from inflation, they created it. What you are about to discover will change how you see every grocery store price tag.
Good evening and welcome back to Case Vault. Tonight, I am exposing leaked internal communications, court documents, and executive testimony that prove grocery chains artificially inflated food prices. They blamed suppliers and economic conditions while emptying your wallet and buying private jets. This investigation involves court-sealed documents from multiple lawsuits, internal Kroger communications that executives tried to destroy, and pricing algorithms designed to maximize profit from family desperation. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how grocery chains turned inflation into the greatest wealth transfer from working families to corporate shareholders in American history. March 2021. Inflation begins hitting the American economy. Grocery prices start climbing. Families across the country watch their weekly grocery bills increase by $50, then $100. The media blames supply chain disruptions and labor shortages. Grocery chain executives appear on news programs expressing sympathy for struggling families. But here is what they were not telling anyone. Internal documents reveal grocery chains saw inflation as the greatest profit opportunity in decades. One leaked Kroger executive email states, "This is our chance to reset price expectations permanently. Customers will blame the economy, not us." The grocery industry has spent 2 years claiming they were victims of inflation. They said they were forced to pass along increased costs to consumers. That narrative is completely false. Court filings in multiple states now prove grocery chains used inflation as cover to implement the largest coordinated price-fixing scheme in American history.
The smoking gun comes from Kroger's own internal communications. These were seized during discovery in Washington State's price-fixing lawsuit. These emails reveal a company celebrating inflation as an opportunity to manipulate customer psychology and justify permanent price increases. One executive wrote, "Inflation gives us air cover for aggressive pricing strategies. Customers expect higher prices now. We would be stupid not to capitalize." Another email discusses training customers to accept new price points and maximizing margin opportunities during economic uncertainty. But the most damaging evidence comes from Kroger's pricing algorithm documentation. The company developed software specifically designed to identify products where they could raise prices above inflation rates without losing customers. They called it elasticity exploitation, targeting essential items that families cannot avoid buying regardless of price. Internal training documents show Kroger employees were instructed to blame price increases on suppliers, transportation costs, and economic conditions, even when Kroger's own data showed their supplier costs had remained stable or decreased. Store managers received scripts for responding to customer complaints about prices, all designed to deflect responsibility away from corporate pricing decisions. Kroger was not acting alone. Court documents reveal grocery chains coordinated pricing strategies through industry associations and consulting firms. What they created was not just price gouging. It was systematic market manipulation across the entire food retail industry. Leaked communications between major grocery chains show executives sharing pricing intelligence and coordinating market-wide price increases. One email chain discusses maintaining pricing discipline across all major retailers to ensure no company undercut others by keeping prices reasonable.
The coordination was so extensive that grocery chains even shared customer complaint data. They used this to identify which price increases generated the least resistance. They used this information to target vulnerable populations, senior citizens on fixed incomes, large families, and low-income communities with the most aggressive pricing strategies. Internal documents from multiple chains reveal they hired the same consulting firm to develop inflation-justified pricing models. This firm provided grocery retailers with coordinated talking points, pricing strategies, and even scripts for congressional testimony when lawmakers started investigating food price increases.
While grocery executives celebrated record profits, American families faced impossible choices. Sarah Mitchell, a single mother of 3 from Ohio, saw her weekly grocery bill increase from $150 to $230 between 2021 and 2023. Her income did not change, but grocery chains' pricing algorithms identified her as a customer who would continue buying regardless of price. The Miller family in Colorado was forced to choose between prescription medications and nutritious food when their grocery costs increased by 60%. Internal grocery chain data shows companies specifically targeted essential items like milk, bread, and baby formula for the highest price increases. They knew families could not reduce consumption of these necessities. Senior citizens on fixed incomes were hit hardest by the coordinated pricing schemes. Eleanor Chen, a 78-year-old retiree in California, began eating 1 meal per day to afford her medications after grocery prices consumed 80% of her Social Security income. Grocery chains' own research identified seniors as price inelastic customers, meaning they would endure price increases rather than change shopping patterns. The psychological impact extended beyond financial stress. Internal grocery chain surveys obtained through court discovery show companies tracking customer anxiety levels. They used emotional distress as an indicator of successful pricing strategies. They literally measured family suffering to optimize their pricing algorithms. While families struggled with food insecurity, grocery chain executives experienced unprecedented wealth accumulation. Kroger's CEO, Rodney McMullen, saw his compensation increase from $8 million in 2020 to $22 million in 2022. This was directly tied to the company's inflation-enhanced profit margins. Kroger's profit margins increased from 1.5% to 4.2% during the inflation period, not because their costs decreased, but because they raised prices far beyond any cost increases they experienced. Internal financial documents show the company's actual supplier costs increased by an average of 12%, while they raised consumer prices by 38%. The windfall was so enormous that Kroger spent $15 billion on stock buybacks and dividend increases, all while claiming they could not afford to reduce customer prices. Executive bonuses were specifically tied to pricing optimization achievements, rewarding managers for successfully manipulating customer costs during economic hardship. Other major grocery chains followed identical patterns. Albertsons, Safeway, and Publix all reported record profits during the inflation period. Their internal documents show supplier costs remained relatively stable. They coordinated their pricing strategies to ensure no major retailer offered significant relief to struggling families. The most sophisticated aspect of the grocery pricing conspiracy involves artificial intelligence systems designed to maximize customer extraction. These algorithms analyzed shopping patterns, demographic data, and economic stress indicators. They identified optimal price points for every product in every location. Internal technical documentation revealed grocery chains developed dynamic pricing models that automatically adjusted prices based on local economic conditions, customer desperation levels, and competitive analysis. The algorithms were programmed to identify maximum sustainable price points, the highest prices customers would tolerate before changing behavior. The technology was so advanced that prices varied not just by location, but by individual customer profiles. Frequent shoppers with established patterns paid higher prices than new customers because algorithms identified them as less likely to comparison shop. Customers purchasing baby formula or prescription-related items faced the highest price premiums. Most disturbing was the social vulnerability scoring system that targeted economically distressed communities with the most aggressive pricing. Areas with limited transportation options, few competing stores, or high percentages of elderly residents faced systematically higher prices because algorithms identified these populations as having fewer alternatives.
Today, as congressional investigations intensify and state lawsuits multiply, grocery chains are desperately trying to control the narrative. They have hired the same crisis management firms that defended tobacco companies and oil corporations during their own accountability reckonings. Internal communications from 2024 show grocery executives coordinating legal strategies and public relations campaigns to minimize liability from their inflation profiteering. They are claiming their pricing decisions were market responses to economic conditions, while hiding the evidence of deliberate coordination and customer manipulation. The cover-up extends to destroying internal documents and implementing new communication policies. These are designed to prevent future discovery of pricing coordination. Multiple grocery chains have suspended or reassigned executives whose emails contained the most damaging evidence of deliberate price manipulation. Most cynically, these same companies are now advertising inflation relief programs and value pricing initiatives, using the economic hardship they created as marketing opportunities to appear consumer-friendly, while maintaining artificially high baseline prices.
Multiple state attorneys general are pursuing criminal charges against grocery chain executives for conspiracy to manipulate prices during a national emergency. The evidence is overwhelming. Internal documents, coordinated communications, and algorithmic pricing systems designed specifically to exploit customer desperation. But the real accountability must come from consumers who understand what happened. Every grocery price you pay today includes artificial inflation created by coordinated corporate manipulation. The executives who orchestrated this scheme remain in positions of power, collecting bonuses from the wealth they extracted from struggling families. The grocery pricing conspiracy represents everything wrong with unchecked corporate power in America. When companies can coordinate to manipulate essential goods during economic hardship, they are not operating in a free market. They are operating a rigged system designed to transfer wealth from families to shareholders. Thank you for watching Case Vault. If this investigation revealed how grocery chains manipulated prices during inflation, share it with others who deserve to know how their grocery bills were artificially inflated. Subscribe for more investigations into corporate accountability. Until next time, this is Case Vault.